Hello, I'm Toycat, and this has been a crazy week for Minecraft 1.18 news, but in the chaos you might have missed the new snapshot 21W38A, and in that snapshot they added simulation distance to Java for the first time. However, the obvious question is, what is simulation distance? And just for emphasis, we'll say it again, what is simulation distance? And the simple answer to this question is that simulation distance is the point at which all things will actually be simulated or really exist. The render distance is what you can see, but the simulation distance is what Minecraft is actively calculating, i.e. things like mobs will be running around, things like liquid will actively be flowing, and things like explosives and breeding and all these other different furnace effects can actually happen because they're being simulated, as opposed to things happening 1,000 blocks away that are neither rendered nor simulated, and things happening 30-40 chunks away that you can see but that aren't actively being calculated by Minecraft. This leads to a huge performance improvement, and something interesting that I only learned from KingBDog's tweet is that while render distance is calculated as a sphere from your viewpoint, the simulation distance is calculated as a cube or a square or whichever way you want to see it, but it is going to be affecting slightly different areas. And so now on Java, just like on Bedrock, there are some places that you can see but that aren't actively being calculated, and that is so interesting to me. It's one of the cool parity changes they've decided to introduce. But speaking of parity changes, one that I think a lot of people would love to see on the Java edition is the fact that now beneath your existing caves you'll find the new 1.18 caves, because all of the bedrock underneath your worlds will be changing into deep slate. At least that's what happened in the latest beta, and so Anonymous is one of the 0.1% of people that's very upset, because what about mob proofing from lighting up caves under and around mob farms? We're gonna have to go through all of that again. You know, Harrison Gray, my editor, even said that, yeah, it's kind of disappointing that, like, I want the bedrock on bottom of my world, it's not going to exist anymore. And the good news about this is I have a little bit of confirmation again from KingBDogs. I can't directly verify this Discord message, unlike 99% of the things that I show off here. However, it does sound like this is backing up the kind of widespread claim that although it's worrying to think about chunks underneath for some people, the truth is when you open a new world, it'll be an option. And so on the Java edition at the very least, I can see that being true. And on the Bedrock edition, I imagine they'll do the same, because some people are attached to their worlds as they are right now. As we know, one of the basic principles of Minecraft is that they try as hard as they can not to affect your existing worlds, and so just giving you an option to make those new caves appear that 99.9% of players will take is a good thing. Although actually it makes me worry, because now that they make it an option, which it sounds like they're going to do, some number of players might not ever discover the option, or they might not think they want the option, and they might not realize that it leads to what it does right now. And so that is why they can't put everything behind an option. Just like how some people say, like, combat should change based on options, you should be able to pick your own style of combat or whatever other weird things like that. Options aren't the solution to everything in Minecraft, but apparently they're the solution to caves underneath your world. So next up, I have a question from Doc Bottle. From where do you get the most views on your videos? Do you get many views from non-English speaking countries? And this is a great question, and a cool thing about being a YouTuber is you get direct demographics of who watches your videos. So did you know, for example, that 99.9% of house fires happen to people who aren't subscribed to the channel? I bet you didn't know that one. But also, you can see that in the last 30 days, I got 5.1 million views across all of the videos on the channel, and 2.2 million of those came from the United States, so 43.6%, and then the United Kingdom got 9.5%, India got 5%, and all the countries below 5% are Canada, Australia, the Philippines, Germany, Brazil, Netherlands, and Indonesia. And although English is an official language in the top 5 of those countries, although with India it's just one of 3 official languages, and then a lot more like less official, like whatever. So although the top 5 use English, the bottom 5, the next 5 I should say, the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th, and 10th biggest demographics do not speak English primarily, which is so crazy to me, because I always knew there was some number of people from places like Korea and whatever watching these videos, but I never assumed it was a large demographic. I also wouldn't have guessed Brazilians were so high, and Indonesians 1.1%, so 1 in every 99, we'll just round down to 100, 1 in every 100 viewers that watches my videos is from Indonesia. That's so weird to imagine, because, you know, it's not what you're picturing. And the even more interesting statistic is you can see the watch time for each of these countries on average, and so if we look through that, you can see that the people who watch my videos the most are Americans. If you're from the United States, thank you for watching my videos an average of 8 minutes and 36 seconds. From the UK, you're slacking. Canada, what's up? I thought you liked me, Canada. And Australia likes me even less than Germany, it seems. I mean, come on guys, Australia, you speak English over there. Germany, they're listening in their second language, and they're watching videos more. And as you can see, the drop-off time for Indonesia is actually one of the lowest on this list at 3 minutes and 15 seconds. So actually, even though 1 in every 100 viewers is from Indonesia, they're very likely to click off the video after 3 minutes, probably because some of them have no idea what I'm saying. Speaking of people who don't have an idea what I'm saying, that guy says, shouldn't we start hearing about the mobs we can vote for at Minecon soon? Also, should I hit the like button? And he knows what he's doing by pandering to me, putting it in here, by letting me go, yes, of course you should hit the like button. You know, I don't like that hitting the like button is like this thing that I used to like the idea that it should be something that's earned and you could be like, no, don't hit the like button unless you like this video. However, because so many YouTubers just say, hit the like button, and people are like, yeah, sure, why not? And because YouTube values quantity, not quality of likes, because there's no such thing as quality, I also have to just join in and say, yeah, like the video, not because it's a good video, but like the video because it has no downside to you and probably some upside to me. Speaking of upside to me, yeah, there are new mobs that we're going to be able to vote on at Minecon Live, right? It's going to be for the 1.19 update, we do assume, and so the question is, shouldn't we be hearing about them? How is it that there's a vote happening in 2 to 3 weeks now, but we have no clue what we're voting on? Actually, I think it's 3 weeks today. Yeah, 3 weeks exactly to this Q&A Saturday. Looking forward to the Q&A Saturday being replaced with the live stream watch. But yeah, so a simple answer to this question is that the mobs we're going to be voting for will be revealed before Minecon Live, but previous years we've, I've seen a lot of people speculating it's going to be happening, like, right now, what it's going to be this week, next week. But in previous years, we've seen it happen all in the same week before Minecon Live itself. I think the most optimistic schedule you could say is that next week we'll hear about one mob, then the one after we'll hear about a second mob, then the one after we'll hear about a third mob, but I think that's less likely than just all in the week before we'll hear about mob A, B, and C. Mob A will be boring, mob B will be really overexciting and you like have no fleshed out concept, and mob C will be, you know, who am I kidding? I'm being very cynical right now. I do think that this year we're going to have 3 actually interesting mobs to vote on. I think that they're learning the lessons and we're going to see some interesting concepts, all 3 of which we should be excited to see in Minecraft, but maybe I'm wrong about that. And speaking of things I may be wrong about, may I ask what is the correct pronunciation of Mojang? Is it Mojang or Mojang? And yeah, it's funny because Mojang AB is a Swedish registered company. They are still headquartered in Sweden, and that is primarily where they are. However, you might have heard about that Microsoft deal, $2.5 billion and all, which at the time people mocked and said, haha, you know, you bought Minecraft for $2.5 billion, I bought it for $10, you suckers. But people mocked it as being not a great deal, but now, you know, like, best-selling game of all time, Microsoft got such a good deal, right? Anyway, so Microsoft bought it. Microsoft's, of course, an American, Washington, Seattle headquartered company, and since the acquisition, they've done a substantial expansion of the American end of the business, now so that more employees at Mojang AB, the Swedish company, work in America than Sweden by a very large margin, and so at some point, it's not a fully American company, but a lot of people do pronounce it the American, the English-speaking way, which is Mojang, more so than pronounce it Mojang. And the question should be, is at what point do words change forever their meaning? Because obviously words are fluid and changing all the time. Gay used to mean happy, now it means, I mean, a very different type of happy. You know, like, there are so many versions of words that started meaning something else, and now they mean this, because language is always changing around us. The word selfie didn't exist till a few years ago. It wasn't in dictionaries, but it doesn't mean it's not a real word. And so, long story short, is it Mojang or Mojang? It depends on whether you're a descriptivist or a prescriptivist. Do you think that language is something that is prescribed onto us by the gods at the dictionary company or at Mojang AB? Or do you think that actually people get to decide what words are, how they're said, and what they mean? And the simple answer is that actually you can make a good argument for both, but English is primarily the second one. And so at this point, it basically is Mojang, because so many more people know it as Mojang than Mojang, and saying Mojang is just your way of being like, I kind of know European languages. I know that the J in Swedish is actually a Y. I'm so clever and intelligent. Speaking of people who are clever and intelligent, the next question is, if you worked at Mojang, what pointless mob would you add? So obviously this is a moot question because I don't work at Mojang right now, which means really the question is, how do you get hired by Mojang? And I've thought about this a lot. I think you need a really good CV, or if you live in America, resume, and fortunately I brought mine with me, specific just for this job, and I feel like instead of focusing on your qualifications, give them your ideas for Minecraft. Here are my ideas I know would get me hired for the game, because yeah, I went through all this effort just to say that yeah, adding useless mobs is the easiest way to get a feature put in Minecraft, and yeah, thank you. Hope you enjoyed my I put a lot of effort. I had to write that physically. What's the point in these videos when, you know what? Next question. Anyway, I have no idea what just happened there. Let's move into the next question, because this one comes in from Picture. Do you know that 100% of people that have drank water died? And this is a bit loose with the whole question idea. But yeah, they actually messed up this question a little bit, because not 100% of people who have drank water have died yet, but 100% of people who have died drank water. That's the correct way to put that round. If you do it the other way around, it's something like 99.9% of people who have drank water have died, because a lot of people are still alive. And so that means we can use some favorable statistics here and say that, did you know, of the 1.7 million people who have subscribed to this channel, assuming 1% of people die every year, there are fewer than 10% of those people who have died, which means that if we take the very healthy process of drinking water, just 0.1% of people who have done it at some point in their life have survived, whereas greater than 90% of people who have subscribed to the IBX Toycat channel are alive right now. Using that and extrapolating, we can say that actually subscribing to the IBX Toycat YouTube channel is 900 times healthier than drinking water. This is just me being dumb with statistics. But speaking of dumb with statistics, hey, nice video, but I have a question. With this snapshot, can Bedrock players build on top of the Nether like Java players are able to? Thank you, Nikos1001, for the question. And you know what? The simple answer is that they're not playing around with the Nether and the end generation. But just for you, I loaded up the beta, I went to the Nether, I broke my way to the ceiling, and I was like, maybe they changed it. I mean, they've got it right. They've got, like, if the overworld's going to be 372 blocks, they can't justify the Nether being just 128. But just like in every previous snapshot and just like in every previous beta, they are not altering the Bedrock Nether. And I think it's dumb. I think it's a parity change they really need to fix, but it's not their current priority. Just like how my current priority is not this question from Pat. You've been playing Minecraft and watching it evolve for over a decade. Based on this experience, where do you think it and you are heading in the next 5 years? I think Minecraft is going to I think in my ideal world, they switched to the 2 update a year system they've been trying. You know, this is the first year they do that, and they try to make each of those a big event. I think Minecraft is getting smart and realizing they can sell more games by updating it. I mean, that's always been the system for the last 10 years, but they're realizing that the bigger a hype event they make an update, the better it is for the sales of the game. We've had this conversation directly with people like, oh, Raph, there is a direct financial incentive in updating Minecraft. I think they're also going to get better at marketing all these weird separate things like emotes and capes and skins and DLC maps, etc. And I think that's okay if that's, again, if that's how they convince the world that it's a profitable thing. That's great. I think we're going to probably have in the next 5 years a new dimension finally, which is one of those big exciting things. I'd probably say the most requested feature now that the cave update's happening. And as for where I think I'll be, I think in the next 5 years, obviously I'm going to keep the weekly series going, but I think there's going to be much more of a consolidation around these big events. I look at these stats on the videos when we're talking about something brand new, like 1.18 or whatever, and then I look at a video I put a ton of effort in outside of that, and I realize that, like, you know, I can't be like, oh, it's the audience that's wrong. Why aren't you watching my video where I build a house from entirely random blocks? It's a very exciting thing. You know, like, in reality, I can't just argue that forever. At some point, we have to accept that, like, yeah, you go where the people are at. And yeah, given that there's so many other channels that I've slowly been expanding to, I might even make a Minecraft short channel. I've been playing with that idea for a while. Given that there are so many other channels and places that I exist, I think focusing the Minecraft stuff on updates is probably where I'll be in the next few years. We'll see if that pans out. I mean, if you asked me 10 years ago if anyone would still care to watch me, I would have said no. I have no idea how any number of you have stuck it out for the last few years, but thank you so much for having watched not only this video, but also any others that you've watched on this channel. I really do appreciate it, and when YouTubers say they appreciate something, it's hard to seem genuine, but like, as someone who watches a lot of YouTube, it's wacky that people put me in that same place, you know, when you're eating some food, you grab an IBX Toycat video. That is a genuine honor to me, and thank you for allowing me to do this for the last few years, and I hope that I'll see you in 5 to 10, unless, you know, obviously, I have been drinking a lot of water recently, and I can't subscribe to my own channel because you can't do that on YouTube. But no, thank you very much for watching this video. Hope you all enjoyed, because I'll see you next time. Goodbye.